If you'd like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to another episode of the FightersRep podcast. Today I'm here for an interview with a very, very special guest, none other than the UFC's Gabriel Green. I'm going to go ahead and say the UFC's Gabriel Green, brother. How are you doing, Gabe?
I mean, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's such a pleasure to have you, Gabe. I've been trying to get you on for a hot minute, so I'm really glad we were able to finally link this up, Gabe. First off, you know, you're still wearing your war wounds from from last week, but you're looking good, brother. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. You know, I went out there and I did my thing. Just wish I would have won. That's it. Other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah,
for sure. We'll get into that. But Gabe, you know, I wanted to give people a little bit of background on you. You know, I saw you compete for the first time at a CXF show. It was back when LXF was CXF. And you took on a guy who I believe was undefeated at the time in Richard Leroy. A guy who had actually beaten Jalen Turner in a spectacular fight. A guy in Jalen Turner who was actually in the UFC. So when I watched you fight Richard Leroy in what was one of the most entertaining fights I've seen in person as far as I can remember, bro, I said, man, this guy's a force to be reckoned with. And then I guess that was that your last fight prior to, you know, this last fight going in the UFC?
Yeah, that was back in 2018, my last fight. Well, yeah, my most recent fight besides the one that I just did last Saturday.
Wow. So kind of take me through, like, you know, your career, Gabe. How did you get to this level, first off?
I mean, so one of my friends from high school started training at Tracy Hess Sub Fighter. He told me to go down there one day, and you know, I was actually a little hesitant to go in there because I was dealing with some stuff at the time, and then he was like, come on, you know, let's just come. He came and picked me up, and I pretty much lived there. I was training there for like a month, and then Tracy signed me up for a jiu-jitsu tournament. I got gold at that, and then he was like, you know what, you want to actually fight? So I was like, down, you know, let's do it. So I had my first amateur fight 2 months after training, won that, and then after that it was just a roll, just wins, fight. Then I was amateur for a year, went pro after that. Then I was pro from basically 2016 to 2018, fighting as many times as I could, and then won that last fight with Leroy, with a knockout. But then after that, I had to take a pretty long layoff because of injury before my last fight.
What kind of happened to you after that Leroy fight, Gabe? Because you had so much momentum going into that fight, and right after that fight, I said to myself, my goodness. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, Leroy's a beast. You know, Leroy's, I think, a UFC caliber guy, too. You beat him by knockout in a spectacular fight, and then you just kind of, you know, from 2018 until now, we don't see you. I mean, what kind of happened there?
Just kind of vanished into the sunset, huh?
Yeah, what happened to you? We were missing you, brother.
I was missing all you guys. So I broke my hand in the fight, and then I had been dealing with some shoulder injuries from way back when, before I even started fighting. When I was like in high school playing football, I messed up both of my shoulders, and my left one in particular had really been giving me problems as I was fighting, and it was just kind of deteriorating, getting worse and worse and worse. But I'm not a person who actually goes to the doctor much. I'm like, you know, I'll just walk it off. So throw some dirt on it.
My God.
While I was in there, I for sure broke my hand when I fought Leroy, because I could see like the bones like through the, like, they didn't penetrate the skin, but it was visibly broken when I took my gloves off. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the doctor anyways. I'm already there. I might as well have him look at my shoulder. And it turns out it was I had a couple of tears in there, so it was a lot more messed up than I even thought it was. And then, so we were going to get they put me on a wait list to get the surgery for it, and then that wait list was a little longer than expected. And then once the surgery happened, it took a long time to rehab it and get it back to where it was good enough to, actually start training again. Yeah. And then as soon as I was ready to get back into action and got the green light to train, I had my fight camp I was supposed to fight in January for Bellator at the Forum. And then 2020 started off pretty nasty.
Wow,
I broke my rib training for that fight, so I had to pull out of that one like 4 weeks before my fight. And then as soon as I got, rib injuries take a second to heal. As soon as that got ready, and I was like, all right, let me get back to training again. Corona came and smacked everybody. So then it was kind of like, all right, so who knows when I'm gonna fight again? And then
Rich, are you there? Yeah. Sorry, you cut out for the last 10 seconds. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You said, so after Corona, you said what happened there?
Yeah, I just tried my best to, Corona happened, and then so I didn't know when I was going to fight exactly. I was just trying to stay in shape and as ready as possible, even though gyms weren't really open and I wasn't really getting my usual work that I usually do.
Yeah. And
then, eventually the UFC hit me up, and at first they were saying, they hit me up and they were like, you know what, we're interested in putting you on the Contender Series. We're thinking about that around August. So, I was talking to my coach about it. We were going to get a camp going, so I'd be ready for August. And then Tuesday morning, they were just like, you know what, we're going to put you on the card on Saturday if you can get here today in a couple hours. Wow. So it was 4:30 in the morning. We all jumped in the truck and we just jammed down there.
Wow, my man. I mean, it's not the ideal, obviously not the ideal circumstance, being out for 2 years and getting that call last minute like that during the coronavirus when you can't really get your training in. How many actual days notice did you have for that fight?
It was literally Monday night they hit us up, and that's when they were talking about, there might be fights that will be opening up for you. But we're really thinking about the Contender Series in August. And then Tuesday they were like, a fight opened up, do you want it? So it was no notice.
Yeah. And you don't come off as the kind of guy to say no to a fight like that.
So actually right after Leroy, the UFC hit me up, and they were trying to sign me for a last minute replacement deal. And I had to say no because I was injured, and that they called me in my 2-year layoff 3 times that I had to tell them no, I can't go because I was injured and not ready to fight yet. Wow. So the UFC is the place I want to be. I already turned them down 3 times. So as long as I might have not been 100% as far as my usual cardio, and I was pretty rusty because I wasn't able to get any drilling in really, or anything, but at least my body parts worked right. So I was shit, let's go. I'm gonna just do my best. I'm gonna go do what I can, and I'm gonna get in there.
Let's circle back real quick, and then we'll continue where we left off there. So you said you hurt your shoulder playing football. Where was it that you played football, and did you play any other sports before getting into the fight game, Gabe?
Yeah. So I played football at Warren High School in Downey. I'm from San Pedro, and I'm always repping it, but we moved out when I was a little younger, and then we ended up going to school in Downey. But yeah, I just played football over there. That was it. I didn't play any other sports. I was always interested in fighting, but my parents were kind of hesitant. Didn't like the idea of me jumping inside of a cage with someone trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just football.
And not the easiest way to make a living. I mean, I always tell people that the fight game doesn't seem to be the easiest way to make a living. Why did you choose the fight game, if you don't mind me asking?
It's honestly, I just love it. That's even don't tell anyone, but if I didn't get paid to do it, I'd still do it. It's fun. I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing than just having that door closed and me just going at it with the person in front of me.
I love that, Gabe.
It's amazing.
I love that. So, you get the call Monday night that there might be a fight coming up. Tuesday, they tell you, hey, a fight opened up for you. you haven't fought in 2 years. You're not getting the training in. You're rusty. What's kind of going on through your mind when you get that call on that Tuesday?
I mean, more than anything, I was just like, well, it's time. Let's go. It's been too long. I haven't hit nobody like for reals in a long time. I knew I was gonna have some butterflies and stuff. I got some butterflies, and I haven't had butterflies before. I had like fought someone since like way back like in high school. If I was gonna go fight someone after school or something, then I got like a little nervous. But like in my entire like actual fight career, I had like no kind of nerves, no nothing. But just to know that it wasn't even so much the opponent, it's just the fact that I finally got to go to the UFC where I've been working for. And then even after, turning them down those couple of times that I did when I was hurt, everything circled back and I was still able to be there. So it was just kind of like an emotional experience before I even got there.
And, just to be clear, obviously you were turning them down because your body just was not ready.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. If I had good arms back then, I would have been in
If I had one arm and a fish hook, I would have jumped in there.
Yeah.
Gabe, when did you find out who your opponent was? And, being also a fighter from here in California, I mean, were you familiar with him at all?
Yeah, I was actually. So when they called me, they gave me my opponent right there, and that's when they were offering the fight, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. I was supposed to fight him actually like 4 weeks after I fought Leroy. We already had that like contract signed and ready to go. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna beat Leroy. I'm gonna get this guy next, and we're gonna keep on. Like you were talking about that momentum. I was fighting all the time. I was like, I'm ready. Like let's go. So I was already like. I wasn't super focused on him at the time. I was focused on Leroy. I wanted to get through that fight first. But, yeah, he was already ready to go for the fight after Leroy. I just wasn't able to actually go through with that one because I broke my hand in the fight. And then I found out that my shoulder was a lot worse than I thought it was. So, yeah, that fight never got to happen. But I was already pretty well-versed with the dude. And then, yeah, so when I was like, it's like, oh, I mean, it's been 2 years, but, I mean, it's good. I'll fight him now. I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah. Real quick about that Leroy fight. You said you broke your hand. I mean, in what round? Do you remember when you broke your hand in that fight?
Yeah, I think it was early. Well, when I noticed it, it was in the second round, early in the second round. Like, I mean, I never stopped throwing my right hand, but I remember it hurting for sure.
Wow.
Where I was just like, oh, man. But, I was like, I'm going to keep on using it.
That is some warrior shit, man, because that was, I mean, for those who haven't seen it, I'm hoping you guys can look it up on YouTube somewhere. And it ended in the second round, but I believe it was late in the second round. Am I right?
Yeah, it was like the last seconds of the second round.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, well, I was actually like right there in the front row, and I remember just my jaw dropping in that fight. So, kind of take me through the experience with the UFC. I mean, you make it to the big show. You know what I mean? Obviously, the circumstances aren't normal, but you fly out to Vegas, I'm assuming, or how did that work?
So it was 4:30. My coach actually, he tried to wake me up, but he couldn't get a hold of me because I was just dead asleep. So he called my little brother. My little brother was up at the time, or he woke up from the phone, and then my little brother came in the room and was like, hey, your coach is trying to wake you up. What are you doing? And then after, I called my coach immediately right there, and then Tracy was like, oh, let's go. Pack a bag right now. I'm going to be at your house in like an hour, and we're going to take off. So we just jumped in his truck and just drove straight there.
Wow.
And then, yeah, the first day was, because I haven't fought in 2 years, it was all medicals. I had to do like blood tests, had to get my physicals done, eye exam, get an MRI. I was so behind on like all my stuff to be okay. So that was all Tuesday, was just handling all that, like a bunch of tests. And then
and your coronavirus test too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they did the whole they didn't do the nose thing though. They actually just hit us with the throat swab.
Nice.
That's what I saw videos of that, so I was like, oh man. I was more worried about that than the actual fight. I was like, oh man, this is it. It's gonna happen. So he just goes right there and he's like, say and then I was expecting him to put it down my nose, but he was like, oh no, we're gonna go in the mouth. I was like, oh, all right. still, I'm not gonna lie, a bit violated because they really get in the back of that throat and just swab it around in there.
Yeah, man.
Still not fun. Probably a little better than the nose thing for sure, though.
Yeah, that nose thing didn't look fun at all. So you did all the medicals right there. I mean, is it at the Apex they do it for you guys?
No, they sent us to a couple of different spots in Vegas that my management team, Iridium Sports, they set everything up for us. I didn't have to worry about anything.
Gotcha.
All my appointments and everything, they're able to just boop, 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 just get us going everywhere. So Tuesday was real smooth, just bouncing around, going everywhere. And then finally, like, we were back in the hotel, like, around, like, 7 or 8 o'clock. And then I was like, oh, you know, like, I got cut a little bit of weight, you know, for this fight. And so I threw on a couple layers of clothes and some sweet sweat and got a little bit of a sweat in just to, you know, did mitt work for the first time in like months.
Wow.
To just try and then, you know, and then that was the first day. I felt really good though, and I was like, all right, you know what, I definitely got this. I got this. Turns out I didn't because I lost, but you know, I felt good at least.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, let's talk about your performance, because a lot of people were, you know, myself included, you know, we thought that was a really great performance considering the circumstances. It was a close fight. You made it a dog fight. How were you feeling in there? How do you feel like your time off affected you, if at all?
I mean, I'm definitely not as polished as I'd like to be. Like, I felt that, and then like I said before, when everything was going so fast going into the UFC, like this whole week was just like bang, 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 bang. So it didn't really even hit me that I was in the UFC till like I was there, you know, like I was inside of they brought me over there from the hotel, and then we walked into the room before we go on fight, and I was just like looking around. I was like, oh man, you know, like I turned them down a couple times, and it took a minute to be here, but you know, I'm here. I'm in the UFC. I got a little choked up, gave my coach a hug, and he was like, all right, like, you know, let's go, let's get it. So I was on a little bit of emotional roller coaster, hit me all of a sudden before I even got out there. But I like to think I put it in check, you know, and it didn't hurt me too bad or hurt that much, you know, when I actually walked out there and I did my thing. Yeah, when it was just fun. I was having fun out there. I remember in the first round, I think he like landed a left hand, and I was just like, oh man, you know what? I'm fighting. Like, I haven't done this in forever. Like, yeah, let's go.
Oh my
God.
I
remember smiling. I was like, all right, this is, you know what? This is everything I love. I get to do this. So then, you know, and then I just went out there and kept doing my thing. But yeah, as far as this, I felt like even rewatching it, I was doing an okay job of moving my head and like covering up most of the shots, but I was never capitalizing on any of that and like interrupting any of his combos. It was more like him throwing, him finishing his combos, and then me throwing back, which is a little not how I usually do it. I kind of like, you know, if you watch the fight with me and Leroy, I'll throw like, you know, my cross and stuff, and then I'll move out of the way, slip his punch, come right back in. So yeah, I wasn't doing any of the stuff that is kind of normally me as far as, you know, my regular stand-up goes. So it's just like little things like that I didn't get to drill as much as I usually do, or like at all, that I haven't done in a minute. That definitely affected my performance, but I'm not gonna take anything away from the dude. He was a pretty tough guy, and you know, I'm happy I got to fight him. Definitely want to fight him again though.
Were you familiar with him at all? I mean, had your paths crossed in the past?
Like, I mean, actually, after I beat Leroy, I was walking out, and like I said, we were scheduled to fight a little bit after Leroy, and he immediately asked me as I was like walking up to the doctor to do our post-fight meds, and he was like, hey, you're gonna be able to fight me still? And I looked at him and I was like, I honestly, when he told me that, I had no idea who he was. I was like, what are you talking about? But then like later I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, that's the dude I was supposed to fight. But yeah, and I was like, let me check my hand out real quick and I'll get back to you. But I was like, who's this guy talking to me right after I fought somebody? Like, give me a second to just kind of recollect myself.
So he was at the Leroy fight?
Yeah, he was there. He watched it.
Wow, that's really I mean, that's really interesting that he was there. Do you think he was scouting you? I mean, what was going on there?
Yeah, because like I said, it was pretty much everything was like, as far the contract to fight him like 4 weeks after was pretty much ready to go.
Gotcha.
It was just, yeah. So he already knew I was probably given, if I didn't break my hand that fight, I would have fought him 4 weeks later. So I mean, he was just, yeah. I mean, that's the perfect fight to watch. You're gonna watch somebody fight,
right,
a month
right.
before you're supposed to fight them. They ain't gonna change nothing in a month. So he was just out there doing his due diligence.
Right. So I mean, but you were scheduled to fight him in the UFC.
No. I was scheduled to fight him for Combate Americas in just because I fought Leroy in August. I was scheduled to fight him, I think, first week of October, because I fought Leroy last week of August.
Wow, what are the chances, Gabe, that happens? I mean, you're supposed to fight this guy for Combate, and then you both end up at the UFC? That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a pretty cool thing that, and then like how you're saying, I mean, fighters don't get paid that much money, so the same fight that everyone got to see with us getting paid, not that much at a smaller organization, we got paid a little bit more for the same show, so that's cool. Gotcha.
You mentioned your coach. You mentioned giving him a hug and being emotional. Are we talking about Tracy Hess?
Yeah, Tracy Hess. Best grappling coach. Best just human being on the face of the earth. That guy's amazing.
And he's pretty tight with Antonio McKee. And I think because we interviewed Antonio the other day, I think he mentioned you as well. Are you kind of cross-training with Antonio, or how does that work?
Yeah. I do the body shop right there in Lakewood with Antonio McKee. I used to do that a lot when I first was pro, and then I started training with some other gyms, and then just recently was getting myself back over there to Antonio. I actually trained with his guys a couple of times before the fight with Rodriguez. So, I mean, I think that helped me a little bit. It was like I got a couple of days of work with Antonio McKee and the rest of the guys at the body shop. I think that definitely knocked off a little bit rest beforehand. So I wasn't completely off the couch. Because, I saw his guys were still training, and I was like, man, I want to get some work in. And I hit him up, and I was like, you mind if I go down there? And he was like, no, by all means, you're like family too. Come and get some. So I was like, cool.
Nice.
Definitely plan on doing that a lot more.
And how often do you kind of work with Antonio when you're in your typical camp?
It's usually 4 or 5 days a week, just in the morning, and then because their practices are in the morning, so it works out with me going to his spot in the morning, and then sub fighter with Tracy Hess is all at night. So I just do both. Works out really well. Gotcha.
Well, knuckleheads, if you're joining us right now, I'm here with Gifted Gabe Green. You could follow him on Instagram at Gifted Gabe Green. Also, if it's your first time here and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation, where we put up our free fights. We do interviews, and we also break down fights. We also, Gabe, have a live podcast with Manny Robles, Andy Ruiz's former coach, very famous boxing coach. We do that Mondays at 7. But right now we're with Gabe. If you guys have any questions, you could definitely ask Gabe, and we do have a couple questions for you in the chat, Gabe.
Ready, let's go.
We got our brother Marco Martinez with Fight Life Nation. He said, what a great fight last weekend. Glad you're feeling good, man. Can't wait for your next one. Did anyone from the UFC brass give you feedback on your performance?
Just, the matchmaker, Sean Shelby, he gave me some praise, and I respected that, And then actually, he's not necessarily in the UFC, but after D-Rod, after the fight with D-Rod, what's his name? His coach, his jiu-jitsu coach, Eddie Bravo, came up to me. You can actually see it in the fight. He runs up to me, taps me on the shoulder, and he gave me his respect right there, right away. Saying that I went out there and did my thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're a freaking, you're a beast, bro. You're not going to get nothing but respect on this channel, so I totally understand where they're coming from. Marco also asks, what were all the safety precautions like? Did they affect what little prep that you had?
So, yeah, they just kind of kept everyone in the rooms. No one was able really to go anywhere. We weren't able to train. Usually they have us a room that we can train in as far as a gym or a facility that all the fighters are getting their work in together, and we have like different times that we hit it up. So we're not like crossing paths, but instead everyone had their individual room for like their corners and the fighter, and then right next to it they gave us another room, but then that room was kind of gutted, and they just took all the furniture out and they just threw some mats on the floor, and like a little mini sauna where your head's out in the corner, and so like that's where we spent pretty much the time when we were actually working out. It was honestly, I liked it. It was pretty cool because you didn't have to go anywhere. Usually you have to jump in the car or take a little walk to the gym at the hotel that you're staying at. But we literally just kind of got out of our room and walked to the room next door, opened the door, and able to get all of our work right there. It was pretty cool. But then you weren't able to go anywhere. You had to. They're really taking the coronavirus very, very, very seriously, making sure no one got it. We got tested a couple of times while we were there. Nice. Thermometer, temperature tests every day, keeping everyone safe.
Nice. And Gabe, how was the Apex, man? I'm really curious about that. That looks like an incredible place.
I mean, I didn't even get to see a lot of it. I saw the cage. I saw the backstage where we were getting warmed up at. They had mats on the floor and stuff. And then they have, when you walk in there, they have all of the Ultimate Fighter team's jerseys, like the coaches' jerseys on the wall. That was pretty cool. But, yeah, a lot of the stuff was closed because they're definitely trying to, keep it as safe as possible and not allow people just to walk through the place and potentially contaminate stuff.
Gotcha. Big shout out to Pablo 005 and Neil the Security. What's up, brothers? Pablo 005 asks, Gabriel, did you sign a long deal with the UFC? If you can say, how many fights do you have in your contract? You know what?
I'm not sure if I can say or not, but it is a multi-fight deal, so you're gonna see me back with the UFC.
Wow!
For sure. Just be ready for it, because I'm gonna have more than 4 days next time, so I'm gonna be ready.
Oh man, ready. Gabe, man, that's fantastic news, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that? I mean, dude, you've that's big, man. You're in the big show now. You got a multi-fight contract. I mean, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it definitely makes me feel good, man. It's like, I like the idea of fighting, but I didn't know I was going to be like a professional fighter or anything. I walked into my gym and I instantly fell in love with it. And once that happened, I was like, all right, like, let me see how far I can take this. And then to essentially be at, like the NFL of MMA and just, like the highest of the highest in the sport definitely feels really, really good, and I'm excited to, continue to go. Like, I'm not satisfied with being here. It's a good start. I got my foot in the door, and we ready to rock, but I'm definitely going to get that belt.
Man, that's incredible, Gabe. Pablo says, Gabe and D-Rod got robbed. That should have been fight of the night. That fight or Spike Carlisle versus Billy. What do you think about that?
I mean, of course, I'm a little biased, but yeah. I think I saw a stat that said I think we landed the 5th most combined strikes of any welterweight fight. So, like, considering, I mean, the fight was a banger,
Yeah.
and we didn't get fight of the night. That's cool, like.
I mean,
deserves a little something. But Spike's fight was really good as well. So honestly, if I was gonna not get fight of the night and lose it to another fight, it would definitely be that one. I agree with his statement.
Yeah, I mean, me as a kickboxing promoter, Gabe, I loved your fight, man. I felt like the whole thing was just it was basically a kickboxing fight in the octagon with small gloves on. So I really enjoyed that fight. Neil the Security, he asks, how useful are those portable saunas? I'm thinking of buying one.
You know what? Those things are clutch. Because, like, usually you're in a sauna and your head gets dry and stuff like that, and it's not as comfortable. You're, like, breathing in hot air. If I'm ever going to cut, weight in a sauna again, I'm just going to do that. I think from now on, I might just buy myself one. I actually looked them up already down Amazon.
Nice.
So I think, I'm going to go get one for next time if they're not providing them and the whole Corona thing's over. I'm definitely going to bring one wherever I am because, your head's out. Your head stays nice and cool still. It's just the body sweating, It's definitely an investment you want to make if you're gonna be cutting weight for something, for sure.
Marco Martinez says, one thing I noticed was you you were in really great shape. How important is it for a fighter to stay in shape year-round?
I mean, it's very important. I mean, you never know when an opportunity like this is going to come at you. Like I said, I wasn't really doing a much drilling and stuff like that as far as my technique went, but I made sure that, you know, I was in pretty good shape still, hitting my runs and all that stuff. I always told myself that I'm okay losing to someone by being out techniqued. I'm okay losing to someone with them cracking me with a lucky punch, but I'm definitely not okay losing to someone who I just get tired of fighting, you know? That is completely in your control. So I always try to be in really good shape regardless of being in camp or not.
And for us guys that are not in good shape, I mean, what is it that the gifted one eats? What is it that the gifted one does besides training to fight that keeps you in such great shape, my man?
It's a diet of cookies, brownies, cakes. I've noticed that a lot of people don't do long distance runs anymore. They've kind of switched to sprinting, and I do my sprints and stuff like that, but I definitely hit a couple of long distance runs a week. I think that's pretty important, not just for, you know, your lungs and like your cardio, but just that mental game to know that, you know, like when your legs get tired, that you can push through it and you can get it done. I think it speaks values and it helps your game tremendously. So those long runs, you gotta get them done.
For sure. And so it really is cookies and brownies, or are you just messing with me?
No, I mean, I do. I have like the greatest, giantest, most huge sweet tooth known to man. I get it from my mama. But yeah, so I definitely cheat a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But for this, well, for fights in general, I definitely, the thing about, so like if you're working out a lot and you're serious about your workouts, it feels really like nasty to eat like crap and then work out really hard. So I definitely try to eat a little bit cleaner, unless it's like the weekend or something and I'm splurging, then, you know, because it's important, you know, you gotta have your recess or, you know, whatever you want, your Snickers that makes you feel good. That's just really good for the mental side of the game. But, you know, yeah, I eat my chicken, eat my veggies, all that good stuff. Just keep your body going and keeping that fuel just really nice.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like you've got Neil the Security sold on that portable sauna. So whatever company that is, hit Gabe up, give him a sponsorship. Look at him. He's selling your product. Refer them to Gifted Gabe Green on Instagram. Let the man get some sponsorship money.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, that stuff is money. Like, I mean, you go get yourself one for sure. That's a smart idea.
Pavlo005 Gabe asks, toughest opponent in your career?
Like, I mean, no disrespect to my last one, D-Rod, but I'm gonna have to go with Leroy, man. That boy just could take it and take it and take it and take it and take it. Honestly, I didn't even think, before he crumbled, I didn't think it was, it was like I said, it was at the very end of the second round, and I was like, man, you know what? I don't think he's gonna go down. I don't think it's gonna happen. I was already thinking like, all right, second round's almost over. Third round, I'm gonna go out there, and I hate decisions. I think they're the worst. So I was like, I'm gonna end this guy in the third. I think I'm gonna have to just find a way to just choke him out or something. But then, you know, his chin finally gave and he went down, so I didn't have to. But yeah, that boy's tough. I cracked him. He crumbled, and then I hit him again. And then he looked at me, and it just started getting up again. I was just like, what the hell? And then I was just hitting him like boom, boom, boom. And I just saw his head going like this, and he just kept on getting up. I was like, oh my God. Like, what are you made out of? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was sitting there cage side again, man, and I was like, it was like two fucking Terminators beating the shit out of each other, man. I was just like, wow, man. Wow. Neil or rather Crazy Guy Eve is in here. He says, hey Gabriel, great show, keep it up. Thank you, Crazy Guy Eve. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. If you guys want to support Gabe, man, follow him at Instagram at Gifted Gabe Green. You can follow him on his career through the UFC, where he'll eventually, we're just going to put it out there for you right now, Gifted One, where he will eventually become champion in the UFC. Gabe, how do you feel about that? And what's your next goal now that you've made it to the big show?
Man, I mean, yeah, for sure. Eventually champion. Thank you for saying that. 100% we throwing out there that's going to happen. But as far as my next goal, as far as the UFC goes, I mean, I kind of want to just get back out there and fight again. The taste of losing in your mouth is like the most terrible taste in the world. So yeah, I just want to get rid of that. I'm hoping to get, fight again maybe in August or September. Just get right back to it. I saw firsthand the little holes in my game that I need to polish up on. I know I already got some parts in motion to start training and get some privates with some people to really, put a laser on and focus on the parts of my game that I need to fix and brushing up on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think come August, September, that'll be plenty of time to get a full-on camp in and just, do work.
Yeah. Now, Gabe, you mentioned August, September. I mean, is that when the next fight is happening? Do you know, or are you just throwing that out there?
That's what I'm throwing out there, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Definitely want to just get another one in because, I got a little bruising on the eye, but I feel pretty good and I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, man, and you looked, like Marco said earlier, man, you looked strong, you looked fit, and you look ready to go, man. Is there anybody in particular that, you would be excited to face one day in the UFC? Or was there anything about the experience that you kind of want to share with us that people don't know about?
I mean, it just kind of is what you expect it to be, They're just extremely professional with everything. They were treating the fighters really well. Got everything. Honestly, I felt kind of like spoiled. They had all my meals ready for me.
Wow.
Through the week, they're just like, all right, like, just how much did you weigh? What are you getting down to? All right, boop, 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 calculated everything. They're like, eat this at this time, eat this at that time. And then for the rehydration, too, after we weighed in, they're like, all right, drink this one at this time. Like, take 15 minutes to drink that, then drink this, take 10 minutes to drink that. Then they had, like, a gallon ready with all their, whatever they put in there. And then they're like, all right, drink this in the next 3 hours after all that. Then you can eat this and that. And then, like, so it was really cool, like, just to actually, because usually, like, you go ahead and recarb and, like, rehydrate. You just kind of go like, all right, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to eat that. You just start kind of throwing shit in your mouth and, hoping for the best that you go out there and able to perform correctly the next day. But, yeah, like, everything was kind of just given to me. So, like, there was no way for me to make an error or go out there and look, like, all bloated and stuff that I did it wrong. Everything was super scientific and, just on the mark. So, like, I went out there and I felt amazingly, like, physically the next day when I actually went to go in. I had all kinds of pop. I didn't feel like I overate or anything. I just was, like, nice and ready to go. So it was amazing.
So it sounds like you're saying they got it down to a science. I mean, were they using, like, any kind of instruments, or were they using your weight or your height? Or, I mean, did they do any measurements beforehand to kind of know how much to give you and what to give you?
Yeah, they just asked what my weight was when I was what I woke up at, and then my height, and then what I was cutting to, and then from there they did all their calculations. I'm not sure how they did it. I just know it worked.
That's really cool. RGN's in the Granite is in the chat. What's up, brother? He says, "What's poppin', knuckleheads?" RGN, we're here with UFC fighter Gifted Gabe Green. Again, you guys could follow him at Gifted Gabe Green on Instagram. Marco Martinez asks, what was it like fighting with no fans? Was it weird?
You know what? It was a little weird as far as the walkout, especially in when I fight here in SoCal. I'm a little bit of a ticket seller, so I have like the last time I fought at the Forum, I sold like over 300 tickets. So usually I'm walking out there and people are just kind of screaming my name, and I'm kind of being a doof and stuff and a dork and waving at them and all that stuff. Enjoying it, taking it all in.
I remember the San Pedro clan coming through for that CXF fight.
and they're just always loud. I'm giving them my high fives and stuff on the way out there, and it's just it feels good to take in all that energy. So that part was a little weird walking out and just kind of you just going out there and doing your thing. But when the fight actually starts, as soon as the bell rings and it's time to go, I don't even really. There's like no fans. Like I'm not paying attention to all that. So it wasn't. The actual fighting part was pretty much the same. I was actually able to hear my coach a lot more than usual because usually everything is just kind of like blocked out. And then like you hear like random screams and stuff, or like when you hit someone, like you hear the oohs and the ahs. But,
yeah.
I mean, that didn't really. I don't think that affected my performance or anything. The weird part was just the initial walkout and not getting all the cheers and stuff on the way in.
Gotcha. Neil the security asks, what is your favorite cheat meal?
Favorite cheat meal. So I got, like I said, I got that sweet tooth. I really like it's underrated, but I love bread pudding. Bread pudding is amazing. If you guys haven't tried bread pudding, you need to go get some bread pudding and just indulge a little bit.
Is there a specific place you go to, Gabe?
So my favorite restaurant, like, to go to is Masa in Echo Park. They got deep dish pizza. It tastes like, and I've gone to Chicago a couple times because I love food, and Chicago got Chicago style pizza.
Oh man!
So, and I'm telling you, the Masa has like pizza on par with just straight Chicago.
Oh, stop it!
Yeah, you need to go there for sure. And then for dinner, for dessert, always I get their chocolate bread pudding. Nothing.
Damn, that sounds serious, bro. Gabe, it's hilarious you bring that up because when I go to Vegas, it's almost like a tradition for me. When I go to Vegas, I go to downtown Vegas, and I think it's called the Four Queens Hotel in downtown. And there's a Chicago pizza joint in there where they have their own brewery. And they got a cigar bar, and man, that Chicago pizza there is amazing. And it's also funny that you bring up that restaurant, Masa, because Neil the security's asking, what's your favorite fast food chain? So besides, your Chicago pizza joint, what's your favorite fast food chain?
Sorry, so fast food, I honestly, I don't usually get a lot of like just straight fast food where you can just go through like a drive-through and get it. If I do, it's usually going to be In-N-Out. I'm a big In-N-Out fan. Knock out like a 4x4, just grub. Yeah. It'll be for fast food. It'll be like Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll go to like an actual restaurant to grub.
Yeah, those are good places. RGN's in the Granite says, awesome fight, Green. A lot of heart. Gabriel, if you were to say, what is your best attribute as a fighter, and this is me asking you this since RGN's in the Granite is bringing up your heart, which I think you got a ton of, what would you say is like your best attribute as a fighter, something you want to be known for?
Man, best attribute. I think it's just that partially like just, my heart, metaphorically and, figuratively, or that's the same thing, legitimately and figuratively. Just the fact that like I'm gonna keep on fighting until I can't fight. You're gonna have to put me away. I'm not gonna just dog it out. If there's a little bit left in me, I'm gonna go for it. And then like my actual cardio is a really big part of what I think I'm pretty known for as a fighter, because I just don't be getting tired. Like I said, like I'd even have like a full on camp. I was just doing my little things to stay in shape the best I could without because there's a difference between your fight training, like staying in shape, and then what you actually do when you have a camp. And then those are like, they're two different worlds. The amount that you train as a fighter for an actual fight camp is just, you can't sustain that all year round. So you got to go through, like little weeks camps where you hit it really hard, and then you peak, as soon as you go out there to fight. So even without being nowhere near my regular fight camp, I was still pushing a pace that was hard to keep up with. So I think that's a big part of what I'm, should be known for, or am known for.
And that's something I think people got to give you huge credit for, considering you hadn't fought in 2 years and you were the one pushing the action in there. That was an awesome fight by both of you, but that's definitely something that I noticed, and also the broadcasters brought us up. But Gabe, where does that vicious dog come from? I mean, you got a dog in you, and it is a vicious dog. It's a rabid dog. Where's that come from, Gabe?
Man, I don't even. I think it's genetic. I'm gonna tell my mom and my dad, but I'm not even like a mean person. It's just, you know, I'm in there and I come to fight. That's just what it is. I ain't gonna be, you know, I'm not gonna be taken out by no one. I'm gonna keep on going. You're gonna have to put me out. That's just the thoughts in my head, and I'm gonna go out there and do my thing.
I love it. Jalen Turner is also in the UFC, says Pablo005. He's fighting at 155 and at 170. Would you like a rematch with him?
Oh yeah, I'd love a rematch with Jalen. I fought him at the forum back in 2017. Yeah, 2017. I think it was you know, towards the beginning of my fight career, and lost that one. I think, like I said, losing is it leaves a nasty little taste in your mouth. So I'd love to rematch everybody and avenge all my losses. Take that all day.
Yeah, man, I love that. I love that. RGN's in the Granite says Green's got it. A lot of everything. Great finishers are great finishers. And Neil the Security says Hawaiian pizza all day. I'm from Chicago. Stop by Father and Son if y'all want the best slices, Gabe.
Where's Father and Son at? I'm on my way.
I guess it's somewhere in Chicago. I wanted to ask you, Gabe, because you're from San Pedro, man. What spots do you like to hit up in San Pedro, if any, or have you kind of been gone from here too long to kind of come back and...
Bono's, man. Bono's for pizza. Busy Bee for sandwiches. And then the Pacific Diner for breakfast.
Damn.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, man. San Pedro got all these like little spots in the cut that people don't even know about.
I know, dude. Bono's is no joke, man. You're right about Bono's.
Yeah, have you tried their calzones, man? Their calzones are like, they get like legit the large pizza box, and it takes up like, it's a large pizza they just fold in half basically.
Damn.
You gotta get their calzones. It's mad.
I definitely do. You know where else I like? You know, Gabe, I'm a Miami boy. You know, I'm not really from here. I moved here as my wife's from here, but I like Fantastic, man. I like to go to Fantastic and eat too. I don't think it's a bad place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My goddaughter's she lives out there in San Pedro too, and that's whenever I take her to go or pick her up and we go spend the day together, she just like, that's where she wants dinner all the time. She's like, let's go Fantastic.
Pablo005 is asking, Gabe, are you planning to stay at 170 or are you considering a move to 155? Where are you going to be fighting?
Honestly, that was like one of the biggest things going into this fight. People would always tell me I'm a big 155er, and it was a bit of a cut to get there. And I didn't know how much power the guys at 170 would even have. So it's good that I got to experience D-Raw for what he was, because I mean, not only was he like, I mean, he's fought smaller before, but he's also a 170 pounder who's knocked out other welterweights, you know?
Yeah.
So it was good to be able to taste his power and realize, like, all right, you know, I can hang with that. If that's what a welterweight is that knocks people out, I'm not that scared of this.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I felt like when I hit him, it definitely was, he wasn't like completely just walking through those things either. So it made me feel good about that power. It's my own power at 170 as well. So it definitely, I especially like that, you know, I mean, I'll probably hit like a more serious strength training regimen if I'm going to stay at 170. Yeah. But I'm definitely considering it because, it just means that I'm also always going to be ready for a fight. And like I mentioned before, I just like to fight. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I did notice, Gabe, I'll be honest, I mean, I did notice he looked significantly bigger than you in there. Not too much, but you could tell he was the bigger guy in there.
Yeah, no, like I noticed it too, but like I said, it wasn't like he was just like punching me and I was crumbling or anything.
Right.
It was still competitive. Like he was bigger, but it wasn't by much. And then there's things I can do to like narrow that, you know.
It was definitely a back and forth affair, and it was a great fight. I think he was a little bit bigger, but like you said, I don't think the size was anything that, you know, you wouldn't be able to handle if you had some more time to kind of polish everything up and bring the full package in as you did against, you know, Leroy. Now, let me ask you about that. Were you in okay shape? I mean, I know your shoulder was hurt for that Leroy fight. You broke your hand in the fight, but were you in okay shape leading into that fight?
Yeah, I felt like I was in really, you know, pretty darn good shape going into the Leroy fight as well. Other than my shoulder, yeah, like honestly, my shoulder was so messed up that during fight camps to get ready for the fights, I wouldn't even use like my left arm in practice. Like we just like save it. We'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna go ahead and just let this one be. We'll use it on game day." We were like, so if we were doing rolls, I would never get an underhook on my left side. I wouldn't throw, like we'd be doing mitts and I'd go like, and then wow, you know, just like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and save that. So it was in pretty bad shape. But you know, I was getting all my runs in, doing my 2 a day or two team practices a days with my own little stuff in the middle of all the runs and, you know, strength and all that stuff in between. So yeah, as far as physical shape going into the fight, besides my little injuries that were lagging, I was in really good shape for that fight for sure.
And how do you feel post, you know, surgery on that shoulder? Because, you know, not all the time do these procedures go well and give people the result they're looking for. How does yours feel right now?
No, it feels amazing. It was so, like, when I would throw a punch with my left hand before, it would just kind of give back here, and it just felt like there was I didn't have any actual pop on it ever. Like I would throw my jab out, or if I was standing southpaw, because I switched my stance sometimes. When the cross landed, it would hit the face, but it wasn't anything like it was gonna hurt anybody. It was more of a setup than anything, because it was just back here, it would just kind of give, and there'd be no like stability in the back. Now there's like actual, you know, structure back there, so everything's a lot more solid when I hit people with it.
Gotcha, brother. RGN's in the granite. Says muscle weighs more than fat. Too much isn't great for speed. Speed kills and cardio. Pablo 005 says, do you see any of your teammates possibly making it to the UFC? And I really like that question for you, Gabe, because, you know, I'm assuming you consider the boys over at the Body Shop your teammates as well. And, you know, there's some killer talent over there, but they're kind of doing a Bellator takeover, as they always say.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you see your teammates at Subfighter and the Body Shop making it over to the UFC? Because you guys definitely got the talent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, don't like Joey Davis and AJ McKee over there at the Body Shop. They're definitely focusing more on a Bellator run right now, but those guys got so much talent. They could easily make the run at the UFC for sure if they wanted to. I know they're contracted with the Bellator right now, so I mean, that stuff is always up for negotiation. Contracts don't last forever. You know, you run out of your fights and they re-up. So if they decide to take that, you know, that path and leave and go to the UFC, I think they'd pretty much wreck shop over there too. Those guys are some monsters. And then we have at Subfighter, we got Josh Jones. He actually cross-trains and goes to the Body Shop too. That boy's really, really, really good himself. He definitely could make some way in the UFC as well. He's yeah, that's my boy right there. I'm actually a godfather of his daughter that he just had. That's my boy. And yeah, as a fighter, he's something special that he's lost some fights, you know, but he's won a lot, and he's continually growing as a fighter. So definitely, you know, look out for that boy too, because he's something special.
The inside scoop from the gifted one. Appreciate you on that one, Gabe. Neil the Security says, I can't wait to see you crack that top 10, champ. How do you see the trajectory of your career going? Do you want to ease your way in or jump straight into the Shark Tank?
Man, I mean,
you kind of jumped into the Shark Tank last week.
Oh yeah, I'm already in the deep end. You know, I might as well just keep on swimming, so because I'm already there. They already fed me, you know, somebody. Well, I mean, shit, they fed me to him a lot, but you know, I'm already there. I'm ready to fight. I'm honestly down to fight whoever. Give me an actual camp. I think I'll drown people just with my cardio alone, and then, you know, I'm able to work on my technique and make sure that's all sharp too. if you thought I was a problem this fight, you're gonna see a whole another monster next time you see me.
And we look forward to it, Gabe. Gabe, would you say you're more of a stand-up guy or a ground guy? I mean, where's your strength lie right now in your fighting? If you were to say, you know, one's better than the other.
Man, I don't know. I mean, because if you look at my record, you see that I have 6 rear naked choke finishes and then 3 knockouts. But honestly, I really like my striking. I don't know if it's better, but I definitely like to do it. It's kind of just more fun for me to do. So I definitely love that a lot. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my strength exactly, but it's definitely what I like to do. And then, but I mean, my grappling is definitely for sure up there. If, you know, we're on the mats together, I can take a back, take a neck, and it'll be a wrap.
Guys,
I just got a pretty well-rounded game.
Guys, we're here. If you don't know, now you know. We're here with Gifted Gabe Green. You can follow him at Gifted Gabe Green on Instagram. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Get a shirt in the links below. You know, support us any way you can. Anything you guys invest or donate to the channel gets reinvested right back into the promotion. Pablo005 says, the toughest guy you sparred with or just trained with can be only for like grappling day or wrestling, whoever. I guess he's asking, who's the toughest person you spar and train with?
It'll be those 3 guys that I mentioned before. Like Joey Davis, he's just his wrestling. He was undefeated in college, so his wrestling is just, you know, like, man, I just try to touch his legs, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Like, if I'm able to grab his leg, I'm like, all right, you know, I did good today. But, you know, it's constantly, I think, he don't even get taken down at practice. So, you know, that's my main thing. I just try to shoot on him as much as possible and get that feel for, you know, just his caliber of wrestling is so hard. It's just so amazing. And then just AJ's so quick and fluid, and then just mixes up punching and striking and grappling so good. So that look is just special. And then he's a southpaw, so it's like that's always interesting because you don't see a lot of those. And then Josh Jones, just I think if there's anyone with cardio that is comparable to mine, it's that guy. So we kind of go through some. So I think one time we did like an hour round back in the day where we just kind of went and kept going. So that guy's cardio amazing. So anytime you got a round with him where, you know, we're just pushing each other to that next level of cardio, he definitely helped me get my cardio where it is, because he was just pretty much my main sparring partner when I was at Sub Fighter when I just started out, just pushing me to that next level because he was able to just keep a pace that I was able to keep, and we just kept on getting each other better and better and better.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been on with Gabe Green now for almost an hour. Gabe, I want to thank you very much for your time, brother. Again, it's been an hour, and I want to stay on your good side. Is there anything you want to say, or any sponsors or anything you want to shout out before we let you go?
You know, just shout out to my coach, Tracy Hess, Sub Fighter, down in Seal Beach. Shout out to Antonio McKee down at the Body Shop. Shout out to just all my friends and family, and Pedro. Just where all you guys are spread across, you know, hopefully the world now. And that's it, man. Shout out to Jason House, my manager, as well, for helping me, you know, get to where I am as well.
Awesome.
Wait. I gotta give Trini too. That's my first sponsor ever. I gotta give him some love.
Nice.
So much.
Who is that now?
His name's Trinidad. That boy from San Pedro. He's that guy's amazing.
Very cool. And Pablo in here says, Gabe, wishing you will follow your next fights for sure. And Neil the security says, you're awesome, Green, and best of luck with your career. Great and humble. You will succeed for sure. So, you know, you definitely made some fans in here today, Gabe. And I want to thank you again on behalf of FightersRep, the promotion, the fighters, the team, the channel, everybody. Thank you, man, for giving us this time to interview you, man. It's you know, it's really special to have a homegrown guy make it to the big show. And I'm always telling people, all the guys out here in California, man, they're the best fighters in the world, man. We got the best fighters in the world. They're either from here or they're training here, the majority of them at least. So it's awesome to see you doing your thing, Gabe.
Thank you for having me. Before I forget, just real quick shout out to Cryo Spot OC for helping me, you know, get my body right and taking care of me there, and then Ludigear as well for fixing up my fingers and stuff after fights and allowing me to train. I gotta give, you know, all the sponsors some love.
For sure. We can't leave them out of here, and I'm sure you'll tag them on your Instagram. Give Gabe a follow at Gifted Gabe Green. Gabe, thank you again so much for your time, brother, and we'll definitely be in touch soon, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you for having me.